Bold truth, most people think a power outage is just an inconvenience until the first 12 hours pass. At first, it almost feels manageable. The lights go out, maybe you grab your phone flashlight, light a few candles, and assume it'll be back soon. It's annoying, sure, but not alarming. Then time stretches. The refrigerator stops humming. The house gets quieter than usual. You check your phone again, still no update. Maybe you open the freezer, thinking you'll just grab something quickly, but you hesitate, because now every second the door stays open matters. By hour 6, small things start stacking up. Your devices are losing battery. The Wi-Fi is gone. You realize how many basic things depend on electricity, things you never consciously think about. You begin conserving. Turning things off. Avoiding usage. Waiting. But nothing changes. By the end of the first day, the situation shifts. Food becomes a concern. Not immediately, but enough to make you think ahead. What can still be eaten? What needs to be used now? What might go bad overnight? The temperature inside the house starts to drift. If it's cold outside, the chill slowly creeps in. If it's hot, the air becomes heavy and uncomfortable. Sleep that night feels different. Not because of the darkness, but because of the uncertainty. You don't know when things will come back. And that changes how your mind works. By the second day, the pressure builds. You start to feel the limits of your setup. Not in a dramatic way, but in small, constant friction. Charging becomes a problem. Communication becomes harder. Even basic routines like cooking, cleaning, or storing food require effort and improvisation. And if you're not alone, if you have family, kids, or someone depending on you, that pressure feels heavier. Because now it's not just about convenience. It's about responsibility. You start thinking differently. Not just when will the power come back, but what would I do if this lasted longer? And that's where most people hit a wall. Because the systems we rely on every day are designed for stability, not interruption. We assume they'll always be there. That outages are temporary. That someone, somewhere, will fix it quickly. But when that assumption breaks even briefly, you see the gap. The gap between having power and having control over power. Most solutions people consider don't really solve that gap. Generators? They depend on fuel, noise, maintenance. Solar? It works, but comes with cost, setup complexity, and limitations depending on conditions. So people end up in a strange position. Aware of the problem, but unsure about a practical, reliable alternative. And that's the part that often goes unnoticed. Because the real issue isn't the outage itself. It's the complete dependence on a system you don't control. Once you see that clearly, your perspective changes. You stop thinking in terms of temporary fixes and start thinking in terms of resilience. Not extreme, off-grid living. Just having a layer of independence. A way to reduce reliance. A way to keep essential things running when everything else stops. Because the goal isn't to replace the grid entirely. It's to not be completely vulnerable without it. And once you start looking at it that way, you begin to notice that there are different approaches people are exploring. Some complex, some expensive, and some surprisingly simple in concept. Not widely talked about, not always obvious, but built around a different idea. Instead of just consuming energy, finding ways to generate or maintain it on your own terms. If you want to explore that deeper, there's a structured breakdown in the description that walks through one of these approaches in a practical way. And if this kind of perspective is useful to you, subscribe, because these are the kinds of systems most people only think about after they need them. Stay aware. Stay prepared.